Question 1. A financial institution needs to back up its on-premises PostgreSQL database to AWS. Backups must be available for quick recovery. Cost should be minimized while ensuring data durability. The solution must support automated, incremental backups. Which approach provides the best balance of cost and durability? Options: A. Replicate the database to Amazon RDS using AWS DMS. B. Use AWS Backup to store backups in Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. C. Store database snapshots in Amazon S3 Standard and enable lifecycle policies. D. Deploy an Amazon EC2 instance with a self-managed PostgreSQL backup solution. Correct answer: B. Use AWS Backup to store backups in Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Explanation: AWS Backup automates backups, and Glacier Deep Archive provides cost-efficient long-term storage while ensuring durability. Why not other options? Option A. RDS replication is expensive and unnecessary for backup storage. Option C. Storing snapshots in S3 Standard is costlier than using Glacier for archival backups. Option D. Managing backups on an EC2 instance adds operational overhead and does not leverage AWS managed services. Question 2. A healthcare company hosts APIs on AWS that must be accessed only from on-premises clients. The API is deployed in Amazon API Gateway and AWS Lambda. Public internet access is strictly prohibited. Clients should connect securely with minimal latency. What is the best architecture to ensure security? Options: A. Use an API gateway with a custom domain and restrict IP access. B. Deploy an API gateway inside a private VPC and use AWS Direct Connect. C. Enable AWS WAF to filter requests and prevent unauthorized access. D. Use API gateway with IAM authentication and CloudFront for secure access. Correct answer: B. Deploy an API gateway inside a private VPC and use AWS Direct Connect. Explanation: Deploying API gateway inside a private VPC ensures that traffic never goes over the internet, and Direct Connect provides a secure private link for on-prem clients. Why not other options? Option A. IP whitelisting is difficult to manage and not as secure as a private VPC connection. Option C. AWS WAF protects against web threats but does not restrict API access at the network level. Option D. CloudFront optimizes delivery but does not provide a private connection. Question 3. A research organization runs periodic, high-compute workloads on AWS. Jobs run for several hours and are not time-sensitive. Reducing compute costs is a top priority. The solution must be scalable and resilient. What is the most cost-effective compute option? Options: A. Run the workload on Amazon EC2 reserved instances. B. Use Amazon EC2 spot instances with AWS Batch. C. Deploy an AWS Lambda function for each job execution. D. Use Amazon ECS with Fargate for containerized processing. Correct answer: B. Use Amazon EC2 spot instances with AWS Batch. Explanation: EC2 spot instances offer up to 90% cost savings, and AWS Batch manages job scheduling, making it ideal for non-time-sensitive workloads. Why not other options? Option A. Reserved instances require long-term commitment and are not cost-effective for batch workloads. Option C. AWS Lambda has execution time limits and is not suited for long-running batch processes. Option D. Fargate simplifies management but costs more than spot instances. Question 4. A retail company is hosting a web application on AWS that serves users worldwide. The application runs on Amazon EC2 instances in multiple AWS regions. User traffic should be routed to the nearest region with active instances. The solution must ensure failover if one region becomes unavailable. Which solution provides the best high availability and disaster recovery? Options: A. Use Amazon Route 53 with geolocation routing and health checks. B. Deploy AWS Global Accelerator to route traffic dynamically. C. Use an application load balancer with cross-region failover. D. Set up a multi-AZ RDS database and manually switch endpoints in case of failure. Correct answer, B. Deploy AWS Global Accelerator to route traffic dynamically. Explanation: AWS Global Accelerator provides automatic failover and directs users to the nearest healthy AWS region, improving latency and availability. Why not other options? Option A, Route 53 geolocation routing does not provide automatic failover, health checks are required. Option C, ALB does not support cross-region failover natively, this would require additional configurations. Option D, multi-AZ RDS ensures database availability but does not handle global traffic distribution. Question 5. A media company has an Amazon S3 data lake shared across multiple AWS accounts. Each account should have read-only access to specific S3 prefixes. Cross-account access must be secured without sharing IAM credentials. The company wants to minimize operational overhead. What is the best approach? Options: A. Create IAM users in the source account and share credentials with other accounts. B. Use AWS organizations and SCPs to enforce read-only access. C. Configure S3 bucket policies and IAM roles with cross-account permissions. D. Enable AWS Transfer Family for external access via SFTP. Correct answer, C. Configure S3 bucket policies and IAM roles with cross-account permissions. Explanation: IAM roles with cross-account permissions allow secure access without sharing credentials. S3 bucket policies define granular access control. Why not other options? Option A, sharing IAM credentials is insecure and against best practices. Option B, SCPs restrict account-level permissions but do not grant direct S3 access. Option D, AWS Transfer Family is for external file transfers, not AWS native cross-account access. Question 6. A financial institution needs to collect and analyze logs from multiple AWS accounts. Logs must be stored securely and be queryable for audits. The solution should minimize storage and query costs. Data retention requirements vary by account. Which solution is the most cost-effective and scalable? Options: A. Use AWS CloudTrail to log events and store logs in Amazon S3 with lifecycle policies. B. Enable Amazon CloudWatch logs in each account and forward logs to a central CloudWatch log group. C. Use AWS Lambda to aggregate logs from multiple accounts into an Amazon RDS database. D. Store logs in Amazon EBS volumes attached to a logging instance. Correct answer, A. Use AWS CloudTrail to log events and store logs in Amazon S3 with lifecycle policies. Explanation: CloudTrail provides audit logging, and storing logs in S3 with lifecycle policies reduces costs by transitioning logs to S3 Glacier for long-term retention. Why not other options? Option B, CloudWatch logs are more expensive than S3 for long-term storage. Option C, RDS is not designed for log storage and would be costly for large volumes of logs. Option D, EBS volumes do not scale well for long-term log storage. Question 7. A manufacturing company wants to extend its on-premises network to AWS. Low latency and high security are required. The connection must be private, avoiding the public internet. The solution should be scalable for future hybrid cloud expansion. Which networking solution is the best fit? Options: A. Use a VPN connection over the internet with AWS site-to-site VPN. B. Establish an AWS Direct Connect connection with private VIF. C. Set up an application load balancer with an on-premises target group. D. Use AWS Transit Gateway to connect the on-prem network to multiple VPCs. Correct answer, B. Establish an AWS Direct Connect connection with private VIF. Explanation: AWS Direct Connect provides a private, high-performance, and secure connection between on-premises networks and AWS. Why not other options? Option A, VPN over the internet has higher latency and is less secure. Option C, ALB does not provide private connectivity to on-premises networks. Option D, Transit Gateway helps with multi-VPC connectivity but requires a connection like Direct Connect or VPN. Question 8. A SaaS company runs a mission-critical PostgreSQL database on Amazon RDS. The database must remain available during maintenance or failures. Performance should not degrade under high traffic loads. Automated failover is required. Which deployment strategy ensures the highest availability? Options: A. Deploy the RDS instance in a single availability zone with scheduled backups. B. Enable multi-AZ deployment for Amazon RDS. C. Use Amazon Aurora with read replicas across multiple regions. D. Deploy a self-managed PostgreSQL database on EC2 instances. Correct answer: B. Enable multi-AZ deployment for Amazon RDS. Explanation: Multi-AZ RDS automatically fails over to a standby instance in case of failure, ensuring high availability. Why not other options? Option A. A single AZ deployment does not provide failover. Option C. Aurora read replicas improve performance but do not provide automated failover like multi-AZ. Option D. Self-managed databases on EC2 increase operational complexity and do not provide automated failover. Question 9. A biotech firm needs to process large volumes of genomic data in AWS. The workflow includes batch processing and event-driven processing. The solution should be cost-effective and autoscale as needed. No infrastructure management should be required. Which solution meets these requirements? Options: A. Use Amazon EMR with a managed Hadoop cluster. B. Use AWS step functions with AWS Lambda for event-driven processing. C. Deploy an EC2 auto-scaling group with a self-hosted processing engine. D. Use Amazon Redshift for real-time data processing. Correct answer: B. Use AWS step functions with AWS Lambda for event-driven processing. Explanation: Step functions coordinate serverless workflows, and Lambda provides auto-scaling event-driven processing without infrastructure management. Why not other options? Option A. EMR requires cluster management and is better suited for large-scale big data processing. Option C. EC2 auto-scaling adds infrastructure overhead. Option D. Redshift is for analytics, not event-driven processing. Question 10. A fintech company runs an Amazon RDS MySQL database in Account A. Applications in Account B and Account C need to query the database. Access should be secure, cost-effective, and not expose the database to the public internet. Data should never leave AWS private network. Which solution meets the requirements? Options: A. Create an IAM role in Account A and grant cross-account access to RDS. B. Use VPC peering to connect the VPCs in Account B and C to Account A. C. Create an Amazon RDS proxy and share its endpoint across accounts. D. Use AWS Private Link to expose the RDS instance as an endpoint service. Correct answer: D. Use AWS Private Link to expose the RDS instance as an endpoint service. Explanation: AWS Private Link allows RDS to be securely accessed across multiple AWS accounts without traversing the public internet. Why not other options? Option A. IAM roles don't provide network connectivity between accounts. Option B. VPC peering does not support transitive peering. Account B can't reach Account C through Account A. Option C. RDS proxy is designed for connection pooling, not cross-account access.